minding my own business when I heard very clearly, audibly, the King James Version of Isaiah 26, verse 3, which we all commonly know as, "Thou wilt keep thee in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee." I will keep you in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on me, is one other way of looking at it. You just want to bring it into common vernacular. The Most High will keep the mind of the individual who is focused on him in peace or peaceful. And what came to me after that was the reason that a lot of folks don't have peace is because they don't have their minds focused on the Most High. And the question that came immediately thereafter is this: do you really believe? Do you really believe? Because in order to fixate or to focus on the Most High and his ability to grant peace, to sustain peace within our lives, we first and foremost have to believe on him, believe in him. And the proof that a lot of folks don't have peace is a lot of the hell and calamity that's in their lives. Now, I know somebody's going to say, you know what? I'm living righteously, or I'm attempting to live righteously, and it seems like I just keep getting tested. I gather that. I gather that. I gather that. I gather that. Especially when one says, I am attempting to live righteously. I get it, because the attempt has to be there, and a lot of us are attempting. Whether we're doing it properly or not, we are attempting. We're trying to study, or we are studying. We're praying to the Most High for right direction, right ruach even as we study. There we go. And so we're doing these things in an effort to prove to the Most High where our hearts are concerning him, but also because we just desire him, which again will prove our hearts to him. And yet there seem to be these challenges, these tests, these trials that come against us from time to time. So I get that. But then there are others on the opposite end of the spectrum who ain't trying. They ain't trying at all. And yet they're screaming that they desire peace. So then the question becomes, how can you really have a heart for and even a desire for peace when you're doing things that would render an outcome that will only bring you chaos and confusion and frustration and failure? In other words, those things that are quite antithetical to or opposite of peace. In order to have a friend, you must show yourself friendly, right? So in order to attain that peace, should not we go after peace? Should we not promote peace? Should we not proclaim peace? Should we not live in a way that elevates peace, that invites peace? It's hypocritical, it's outright crazy to do hellish things and yet wonder why you don't have peace in your life. You say that you're waiting on the Most High for your wealth increase, but yet you're deliberately going out stealing other people's money and ripping off folks' credit cards. You say that you desire your body to heal from all the scars and the abuse of your past sexual exploits. But yet, you keep going out there, opening yourself up to the enemy deliberately, because you will not release unto the Most High that unction, that urge to be very flesh-like and practice sexual activity to such a degree that you're now considered promiscuous. But yet, you're crying for peace. You say you desire healing in your family and among your relationships and friendships, but yet you're the main carrier of negativity and gossip, and you're very good at pushing people away and giving folks the middle finger. Your tongue is very sharp and shrewd. You're good at cussing people out, telling them to F off, but yet you cry at night wondering why you don't have peace. You hear the Most High telling you to calm down, to go this way, to go that way, even inviting you to spend time in His presence, to pray, to get in your word, to study, even to show some sort of niceness to this friend or even to a possible foe. But you disregard the Most High's voice, and yet you wonder why you don't have peace. You show up late every day or maybe most days on your job, though you know there are consequences for doing so. You do half-baked work, and yet you wonder why you're facing so much turmoil on the job, why you're getting so many pink slips, why people are threatening your termination, and yet you say you just want peace. It makes no sense. But as all of that has come to me, the Most High makes us read beyond lots of times what came to us initially. So I read verse 2, and then the Ruach said, go on to verse 1. Get some more context to this thing. And so finally, I just opened up the whole 26th chapter of Isaiah. This is the NIV, and I want to read, it looks like the Most High has given me about 4 or 5 verses. I keep seeing verse 4, that first word, trust. That's one for me because that reminds me of my go-to, which is Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in Yahuwah, our Eluah, with all your heart. Lean not to your own understanding, but in all your ways. Trust Him, acknowledge Him, and He will direct our paths. So reading from the NIV version of this, I'm going to change some words, obviously, because I'm not dealing with lords and all of that, but I'm going to deal with Eluah, and I'm going to deal with Yahuwah. Give me a moment. So here we go, Isaiah 26, NIV verse 1. In that day, this song will be sung in the land of Judah, in the land of Yahudah. We have a strong city. Yahuwah makes salvation its walls and ramparts. Verse 2, open the gates that the righteous nation may enter, the nation that keeps faith. Verse 3, you will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast because they trust in you. Now, before I move on to verse 4, I got to look at verse 2 in terms of verse 3. Open the gates that the righteous nation may enter, the nation that keeps faith. Open the gates that the righteous nation may enter, the nation that keeps faith. Now, verse 3, you will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast because they trust in you. Maybe it's just me, but it seems to me that there's a connection between folks being righteous, keeping faith, and their minds being locked in a state of peace, perfect peace, in fact. Their minds are stayed on the Most High because they trust the Most High. As a result, then, they will be righteous because those who trust in the Most High, that means we trust in the Most High's laws, his right rulings, and by keeping his right rulings, we are then righteous. Does that make sense? So open the gates that the righteous nation may enter. The nation that keeps faith. We got to have faith in the Most High. Trust in the Most High. Faith and trust in the Most High. And the Most High's ways. Embracing the Most High's Ruach through his word. Exercising his commandments that he's given us through his word. And as a result, that proves that our minds are fixated, focused on him. The end result for us is that he keeps us in perfect peace because our minds are stayed on him. He directs our paths also because our minds are stayed on him. Verse 4, trust in the Eluah, Yahuwah, forever. For the Eluah, Yahuwah himself, is the rock eternal. Verse 5, he humbles those who dwell on high, the high place. He pulls those high-minded folks down. He humbles them. He humbles those who dwell on high. He lays the lofty city low. He levels it to the ground and casts it down to the dust. Now, I almost said what's tripped out about that, but I guess really what's beautiful about that is that even when all that is going down, when all that's going on, those who are in the quote-unquote high places, when they're being brought down, when the systems are falling down, when the cities are collapsing, when the dollar is failing, when Bitcoin doesn't matter anymore, when pollution and pollutants are overrunning the streets and visibly floating around in the air, when the job market is no longer secure, when housing is no longer secure, he will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are stayed in him, stayed on him. Why? Because they trust him. We trust him. We maintain faith in him. And he directs our paths even to get beyond the pollution, to get beyond the faltering systems, to get beyond the danger. He helps us to realize Isaiah 54:17, that no weapon formed against us shall prosper. All we have to do is keep our minds stayed on him. Now, if I'm wrong in how I believe it's been given to me, somebody correct me, but this is what I see. May this be a benefit to somebody other than me. But I thank the Most High that he keeps us in perfect peace. All we have to do is keep our minds on him. So the question is, do you believe? Do you trust? Will you maintain faith in the Most High? I'm saying that to myself even. Through it all, we've learned, or we have to learn to trust in Yahuwah and Yahusha. We have to learn to believe in our Eluah, the Most High. In Yahusha's name, I pray that we all get to that point, that we get to that place, and that we're secure in our faith, our amunah, in the Most High Yahuwah. Halal Yahuwah, in Yahusha's name. So be it, according to the Most High's will, and so it is.